right. Well, I know it's been kind of a little back and forth trying to get this like finally on a date that works for you and me. So I appreciate your patience very much, and I very much welcome you to the podcast. Going through some of your stats and just in general, like that's really all that people can mostly see about you is just stats and on paper. But obviously, there's more to you than just running and stats. Just first off, like, what are some kind of hobbies? I see you have a guitar.
Oh,
What are
yeah,
some, yeah, what are some hobbies you do like outside of running?
that is one thing. Uh, I like to read, and then guitar and music is like really big for me. We have this place in Easley, like called Smiley's that closed down, where I used to do like open mic night. So I would play like songs with my guitar.
Holy crap, that's pretty cool. That is like that's a lot of confidence I think you got to have in yourself to be able to just get up on stage um and do that. There was I did like my only time ever being on stage was in like the 5th grade, and I had like a speech competition, and I got up on stage and I totally bombed it, and like that was the end of public speaking for good. At least until I became a like in the army and stuff like that. But that's
Yeah.
so cool. That is really cool. How'd you get started into running then in the first place?
Honestly, like I get asked that like a lot, and I honestly have no idea because I started out in gymnastics just like for like my whole entire like childhood, probably to like 14 years old. And then I did cheer because like it started hurting my elbow to do like bars. So, I mean, cheer's not any better. Don't really know where the decision came for that. Um, and it just like cheer was not really for me. I didn't really like it because we had to do sideline for our school. And so then I didn't do cheer. And I mean, I did cheer for a little bit while I started track in 8th grade, but I did pole vaulting. I did not run. And I somehow got dragged on to like one distance practice, hated it, quit running, and then I never ran again or did pole vaulting. And then I came back like 10th grade year and I did like tennis in between that. And I started like running in the mornings before, like, I think it was 10th grade, like 10th grade mornings. And then I was like, shoot, maybe I should like just do track again and try it. And so I just joined and like, I don't know, just went on from there.
That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like starting like and I hear a lot of stuff. But starting off in pole vaulting and then going, wow, that's so
Yeah.
wild. And then taking off time because I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you like, there's that gap. There's that gap year in there, and I'm like, huh, I wonder maybe you got hurt. Maybe like, people
Mhm.
kind of I guess would always assume like maybe you just got injured or something. But wow,
Now I just
that's
hate it.
interesting. Yeah, well, and too, like, but but you didn't start running like at a young age, right? Like not like elementary school or anything. No,
No, like my whole
no.
family are not runners or anything. Like we're not the Turkey Trot 5K family. We're football on Saturday night. Like we
Yeah,
no running.
yeah, because I feel like you would see that too, and more like somebody who's burnt out from the sport, who's like been doing it since they were like 2nd grade, and just gets boring.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool that you kind of like got back into the sport, and obviously the success you've had, I think, hopefully has opened your eyes to how good you are.
Yeah.
Real quick, what team are you for?
We're in high school in like Piedmont, South
Oh
Carolina.
no, 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 I'm talking about college because you said you watch football.
Oh, what fans are we?
Yeah.
Oh, very controversial in my hometown, but Gamecocks, USC.
Oh, okay. Nice. I mean, yeah, you kind of. I mean,
To be
I
fair,
guess.
you live like 20 minutes from Clemson, so I understand, but
Yeah. I feel like it's like a state that's very divided, and Clemson or USC.
hmm.
Um, I'm from Florida originally, so I'm like, there's like still that like Florida State or like UF
Hmm.
type feel to it. So I get
Yeah.
you. I guess that's with like most colleges too. I mean, you even go to North Carolina and Duke, UNC, you kind of got to pick,
Hmm.
which is ironic too because they're all obviously in same states and whatnot, but But okay, USC, go. Yep, get Gamecocks. Um, talk about cross country last season.
Mhm.
Because I was gonna ask you first, dang near question. I was gonna ask you what the heck 23 season was, but obviously you answered that already. Um, but this past season, really consistent sub 19. You ran sub 19 six times. Obviously the PR 1803 at the state qual course. Um, kind of a big question I always ask people. We even had a poll on the channel at one point. Uh, kind of like favorite courses. State qual never really came up, but I don't know. I'm assuming you like that course because of the PR, like, or
Um,
no?
I think it was like I definitely did not expect to run on a military base for a race, so that was interesting. It was cool but interesting. Actually, we got lost getting in there, and we had to talk to like a bunch of like military people just running to get like where to go. And they're like, just follow this.
My goodness. Yeah, the blue line. How do you get lost
Yeah,
by the blue line?
no, then and then it like faded away, and we were like,
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's kind of like no one agrees with me, but I like Milliken and the farm. Like the Newberry course is like really
yeah,
fun to me, and then Milliken course.
yeah. Yeah, Newberry seems to be the going rate of everybody hates it um for some reason, which I mean, I don't know. It does run slow. It seems like it runs slow, but yeah, Jackson though, cuz my son and my daughter, we actually just were out there yesterday. Yeah, yesterday and worked on the hill, that
Mhm.
hill all the way up to the main road. So that's a good workout session. But yeah, so again, I know you said like you weren't really like planning on PRing. I don't know if anybody ever plans to PR. I think we all kind of plan to PR almost every race, or like try to in a way. Really be
Mhm.
going for the win. But some courses, I guess you can kind of be like, I don't know what's happening today.
Mhm.
When you were running that though, was there any like sign that you were onto something like quick? Like you went through the first mile and it was like, holy crap, this is quick and I feel good still.
Yeah. My coach did not want me to race it like that, so that was probably not the best thing to do before state. Um, but I don't remember what I came in through. It was the 800, which I know that's super early, but
Yeah.
if like I felt pretty good through like the 800, and I was like two like 30 maybe, which is way too fast. Like so I dropped down and I was feeling good running like sub 6 minute pace. And so I was like, I just want to get as low as I can. I was trying to like honestly in my head I wanted to like break 18. And like even like I could kind of see the clock and I was like there. Like just I think it felt good too, like getting to the finish line and you're obviously looking in the 17s, so it just makes you excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always find it interesting because yeah, like you said, 800 is pretty early
Hmm.
to get a good indication of how's it going. Um Still, I think I mean you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell, especially the way you get out of the out like at the start. You can kind of see how things are kind of looking early on. Um,
And that one like loops around like the same kind of way. Like you do go over that hill twice. I went through it once, and I remember the first lap. I'm like, I'm feeling good, so I just like kept on going.
yeah, the hill. So, um, I've been at Fort Jackson numerous times, and I've never run that hill until the other day.
Hmm.
And I thought the hill. This is just my opinion, and we have a poll on it right now of the toughest hills in South Carolina, North Carolina.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't think it was that bad. Like I thought it was a lot shorter, or I thought it was a lot farther, and it ended up being like kind of short, like as far as like the incline
Yeah, it's
of
pretty
it.
gradual. So like, it's not like Newberry or anything where like it honestly takes your legs and you have to change the way you're running entirely. Which I think avoiding
Yeah,
hills and races are good because like I like hills because you can change muscle groups and it just honestly helps the race be better if there's not like too many.
yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, well, so I'm assuming you like McAlpine then, the Phillucker course. with the one hill. I mean, the huge ass hill in there.
Yeah. No, I honestly do like that one. Like when we did Wendy's, that was honestly like I really liked that course. But Foot Locker for me was just
Brutal. Yeah, I know. We'll talk about it in a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah, that course again. So we go everywhere to try and get some training in, and obviously just being in such like a good location, you kind of can. Because we went up there, we've been up there twice or three times this summer so far, and that hill is always just so surprisingly long and
Hmm.
steep. You can underestimate it if you don't like do a warm up on the hill, or like, and if you never raced it or you haven't raced it in a while. I feel like it could really kind of catch up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really could because you think it's the end and it like veers off a little to the left and you go around and then you start the downhill
And then it makes
portion
you
to the
like want
lake.
to run into the lake. Like I remember the
I'm
first
like,
like, oh my gosh, there's water.
I know. I ran that course the first time I ran it was a freshman. And I ran it all the way through high school. And that downhill seems to get steeper every year. Like I don't know how they don't have a fence right there or anything. I keep telling people I'm like, man, I'm gonna put a sign right there, like go to the YouTube channel, spike up and whatnot. It's like perfect advertising because you're just like, holy crap, this hill or the
I mean,
downhill's so
seriously, if you
bad.
don't slow down for the turn, you're going to go straight into the water.
Yeah. And the crazy part is too, it's like with big races like Wendy's or Foot Locker, that like if it's just too compact, like there's so many people, I don't. But see, the thing is, I've never heard of anybody falling on it
Mm-mm.
either. Never. Out of all the years, I've never heard of anybody just eating it and just ending up in the little lake pond thing, which is crazy. There's got to be one. There's got to be one. But
Yeah.
and then you go back to like safety, but I don't know. I guess it's what makes the course even more interesting too.
Mhm.
Um, when you're running a PR or even just any cross country race, do you hear anybody like your mom, your dad, coaches, friends, teammates? Like, do you hear anybody in the crowd yelling for you, or are you kind of just like laser focused in?
It depends. I feel like some races are different. In cross country, I would say probably not. There's also just like I feel like so many people sometimes that I don't really hear. I think if there's like I can hear my dad sometimes because he just has like a voice I remember, and if he'll like yell loud or something, I can hear him. But like honestly, I'm pretty like zoned out. Like that's honestly what I love about racing is like I'm like kind of lost in my thoughts in
Yeah,
like a good way. So not really.
yeah. I feel like there's like sometimes maybe like distinct voices you kind of always naturally hear.
Hmm.
But then I don't know. I guess I'm kind of the same way too. Kind of just like laser focused in there.
Yeah.
Um, but it's hard not to like not pay attention at times too. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, so states comes around for cross country. Obviously a great finish, but not the finish you probably wanted. Being close, but I mean, going into that race, game plan wise, like was there, you kind of want to see what people do, or is it just like, do you have a game plan, and then once the gun goes off, it just like depends on what everybody else does, and it changes quickly, or it
Honestly,
could.
since that was like my first cross country race, like or first cross country season, not race, I still was figuring out how to race. So I honestly went out like guns and blazings for that, and just like obviously at the end, like I'm pretty sure I came in the finish line at 8 flat pace. If I'm being honest, I definitely was like sprinting up that hill. It was a good learning opportunity, and I like honestly like I'm not even that upset about it because to be that first year cross country, I was only running for about like a year at that point. So to be where I was just beyond grateful that God has given me the strength to even be on podium, even at all, and to get second is just amazing. So I think it's a really good opportunity to learn, and I also feel like it's good for like later in the future when you're not going to win everything. So
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think like anytime, I mean, dude, state runner up, like that's
yeah.
unbelievably, it's unbelievable. It's such a great accomplishment. And then seventh place as a team too. Like, was that something you guys were expecting to finish like that high, or were you expecting something a little bit different?
No, our number two runner got hurt at state qualifier. It was actually bad. Um, Somewhere on that course, she had literally rolled her. Oh, it was at the very beginning. Like I think that we started on. It's very like either rooty or gravelly where the start was, and she had
Yeah.
like rolled her ankle and the top of her foot was like hurting, so she couldn't even run at state. So we had to pull her and
Wow.
then bring someone else up. So I mean, kudos to everyone because I mean, yeah, cross country season was a lot. So, but we did good.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like you always go into a year, especially like coming out of summer. You expect like some things to happen, and then maybe like one or two of those things happen, and then like there's 50 things that you did not expect to happen. And
Hmm.
because cross country is just so unpredictable, people getting hurt, courses being changed, or weather, and it's just it makes drama in school. There's just so many like factors of cross country running. Um, they just don't know. Like, there's so many times I've talked to so many student athletes, and it's like you could be ranked number one, and then you get beat by number five, and it's just
Yeah,
it's so
absolutely.
wild. They take any day anybody could win. Um, I do want to pick out Foot Locker South. I think that's, um, I think, and not just you, has fallen victim to the postseason. But it seems like there is a common occurrence of like, do you think it was just like one race too many, or is it just like it's just a completely different kind of game plan you have to attack? Because in Foot Locker South, you have to go out. I mean, you have to go out hard. I mean, I know you said you went out 2:30 pace, which that would kind of spring right. Like you kind of have to do stuff like that, or else you're just gonna get like super boxed in. But was that kind of something that happened, or was it just not your day?
Absolutely. I think it's a combination of both, like fatigue from the season. My foot also was hurting from region up until that meet, and I was kind of just like pushing for that. I mean, it didn't hurt like terribly bad, and it was fine after. Just like had like some like I just rolled the lacrosse ball like acute arch issues, and so I was worried about that. Tired from the season because I didn't realize how long cross country season was, and it was also starting to get really cold, and I absolutely hate the cold. And uh, yeah, it was just like, and especially the game plan thing. Like I've never like eye opener was a lot, and that was my actually that eye opener was my first race ever, so that was whoa. But
Yeah.
I mean, even Foot Locker was even more packed than that, and I guess I just did not realize how fast that we would go out. So from the very beginning, I was like really far back. And then we were like a mile in, and I'm like maybe 70s. I don't really remember. Honestly, that race is such a blur for me. I just remember finishing, and my ears were burning so bad because, like, I guess I
Oh,
wasn't adapted to the cold yet. But yeah, it was honestly a combination of both, like not knowing how. I think again, like all of that has been such good learning opportunities. Like, so I know for next time. So I mean, I'm kind of glad it happened, but it definitely was not the best race.
yeah. No, it's funny you mentioned that too. I was talking to my son today, because we finished up a run this morning, um, and I mentioned that to him too. It's like because they're starting off an eye opener this year, and I'm
Hmm.
like, and he's gonna be a freshman, so it's his first kind of take at South Carolina running, and I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, you see a lot of teams kind of open up with maybe like a smaller meet, um, but like just getting thrown to the wolves with eye openers, kind of brutal sometimes because you don't know what to expect, and it's just it's such a big race to do.
Yeah.
It's so crowded. So obviously practicing some stuff with that, but you mentioned that obviously with Foot Locker I feel like is even I'd even say even more chaotic because you kind of everybody kind of gravitates towards the road. Um,
Hmm.
and although you do have time to get kind of like condensed in, it's just by the time you get to there, it's like when you have 200 people trying to get on this road that's 7 feet, 8 feet wide. It's it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I'm not
Um,
very aggressive, so that's the one thing I learned. I had to learn the hard way in cross country was that some people are like I mean rightfully so, like they want their spot and like it's great, but I it scares the crap out of me, so like I do not get used to the elbows or whatever, and that and Foot Locker was like trying to get in was like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna get attacked. But
Yeah, that
it's kind of
yeah.
fun, but it is really scary if you've like never raced a race like that because it's like, oh, are we about to fight?
Yeah, really. Yeah, the stampede. That's the one thing I love about cross country though too. It's just it's so like in moments like that where it is a big meet. It's it's just it's chaotic. It's chaos, but it's fun. But I think that also applies too to like just certain courses because I feel like with eye opener you I mean you have time because it is wide, um, and kind of a long like straightaway to start the race. But the and it's like my senior, well actually my what freshman through junior year, our state course was on a horse racetrack. So it was super wide. Yeah. It was just a
Wow.
super, yeah, it was a super long loop. And we'd go around it one time and then you'd go in the infield a little bit and you'd pop out and end. But it was just, it was so wide. But
Yeah.
it made it so you didn't have to go, like, you didn't have to go out hard. The first 2 years on that course, I was like, man, like, I go out hard because I feel like I need to get place. And I ended up talking to a dude, and he won states 4 times, and I asked him going into my junior year, I was like, hey man, like how do you attack this course? Like how do you run this thing? And every single time, like he would go out slow. He'd be in 80th place at like half a mile in or 3/4 of the way into the first mile, and I'm like, he's just like, dude, take the first bit, chill. And I was like, okay. And you just have so much time because it's so wide and you don't have to weave in and out of people like
Hmm.
crazy. Uh, and yeah, I mean, he won the course 5 or 4 times in a row, and I got 10th place that my junior year. So it works. Like in courses like that, it definitely helps a little bit easier on having to get out so fast.
Hmm.
When you look at like the whole season, I think you're really I don't I want to say knowledgeable, but you're really humble. I think most like student athletes would like kind of look at their season as just like more disappointment in a way, but like really happy with it. But you acknowledge like, hey, there's some mistakes I made, but I learned from them. Like everything's a learning lesson. Like I've learned a lot this season. Is that kind of how you do take it as like, hey, this is kind of a first year really back or like a first year really into the sport hardcore and you learn a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like it's honestly the best way to look at it, especially like because like I've just fallen so much in love with running and I want to continue for as long as I can. And I just feel like if I put so much like pressure on myself to do good right now and that it's not going to be for the long game. And I don't know. I just feel like the more positive energy you put out, and also like my coach as well, like he's super positive and helps a lot with like stuff. As I definitely get worried, and I definitely like am a regular person, so I get disappointed. But at the end of the day, it's just running around in the woods or circles. So like you can't be too serious about it.
Yeah, no, that's you're like every college coach is like just they would love to have you, especially because you're so like I said because you're so seriously because you don't see it too often. Like I think it's more of just like learning the sport is so important, and I feel like a lot of student athletes, I feel like a lot of coaches. Granted, I love there's a lot of great coaches out there, but I think a lot of coaches don't necessarily like teach it as well. They just kind of say like go out and run this, but like to be humble enough to be like, dude, no, I'm learning the sport right now. Like it's not going to be perfect right now. I know that and acknowledge that and be like, it's really great. Yeah, I mean, if and we'll talk about college here in a bit, but if you do want to run for college, I mean, I think anybody would want to have you on the team. Here in this, um, so we'll go into like track season this year. Definitely a good like statement track season. Um, I would argue even track season was better than cross, just like statistically speaking.
Hmm.
506 with the 16 and then 1047 and then even 222 in the 8. When you look at all of those events, is there one that you kind of feel like you're a little bit stronger in?
32 for
Yeah,
sure. And that's
Yeah,
also
I mean,
the one I race the most as well.
yeah, yeah. The 1047 is really really nice. I feel like you have to. I feel like you have to be like sub 5 to really kind of make a statement in the 16. Um, and you're so close too, though. Like
Hmm.
your 1047, I would even say you're like, if I had to guess, I would say 502, 501 in the 16. Like if you ran it again, like equivalent to that, um, for sure. Like you would be really close. So choosing an event again, 18, 16, or 32, you just feel stronger in that? Is that just because it's not as, I don't say it's not as quick. 1047 is freaking quick, but obviously you have a little bit more time to settle in. Is that like a reason? Like, is the 8 just too fast, too quick?
I would say I definitely have more endurance and less like fast twitch muscles and stuff like that. But I definitely love the 16. I definitely pick the 32 a lot. And so my coach will have to be like, okay, let's race the 16. Let's race the 8 today. So I obviously like can't race the 32 every time. And I think I definitely probably should have ran the 16 a little bit more, but I mean I'm also glad with how the season went, so I didn't like over race. But I definitely, like you said, like wanted to get my 16 a little bit lower if I had the opportunity to do that. Um, but yeah, I definitely think I'm more stronger in the 32, but I've definitely been trying to work on my speed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, that's great though on your coach. I think every any distance runner in especially any like 32 like specialist, I think everybody should just do the 8 at least one time, even if it's a 4
Hmm.
by 8, like just to see where the speed is. I feel like that can kind of, you can kind of just base that and tell kind of where your mile is too,
Yeah,
um off of that a bit.
yeah,
And that's what I say, like
really.
222 for somebody who's like really strong in the 32 is like really good. That's a really solid 800 time. And then if you went even sub 220, I mean, then you're really talking of like different kind of speed there.
Yeah.
Obviously, a champion. That is, that's got to be one of the coolest like feelings ever. Especially again, kind of like getting back into the sport. Was that
Hmm.
a shock, or were you expecting like that kind of result? Like, was that something that you knew you could kind of accomplish this season?
Yeah, I think this season I really was trying to work on like self belief because I'd always go into races sometimes like before and would just think like, especially because I was so new compared to everybody else. Like last track season, I'm like, I just didn't feel like I deserved to be there and like in the front group or even leading it like like not this past track season, but the one before. I just like I would already start like I would show up to the starting line already lost in my head because I didn't think I deserved to be there. And so like this time I was like, you know what? I've been working so hard and I feel like I mean I've got this. Like I deserve this. So I just like I always say like before every race like God give me strength. Like I'm the daughter of the Great High King. So like I can do anything. It doesn't really matter like workouts whatever. Like I can do this. And I was worried because it was really hot that day and
Yeah.
it was super late. So but I just went for it.
Yeah. Wow. That, and when you cross the line, like, what's going through your head? Like, holy crap, what just happened? Or like, heck yeah,
Yeah,
I just did that?
honestly.
Or like,
Yeah, I didn't really like it like kind of hit me after, but I was super excited because I really wanted to get like at least one state title, obviously, and I was just really glad that I did it in my favorite event too. So it was just really nice to like be rewarded with that.
yeah, I always find like PRs are really great, and you can obviously, they last. But like a state title, I feel like it just lasts forever. Your name is always going to be like etched in that book of, state champion. It's a title you can always carry, you're a state champion. Like that's so cool. That's so cool to say. Everybody has fast times, but not everybody's a state champion, you know. Um so definitely take pride in that for sure. I know we mentioned like the seasons are getting longer, obviously like Foot Locker, and then there's like NXR and even running lane and cross country. Like those are like it drags the season out into December. But you see that too in track. Like they just had like New Balance outdoor nationals, and like
That was
there's
way after.
Nike outdoor. That's
Yeah.
way after, and it's like holy crap, dude. Running has become such a year-long sport, almost like club soccer. I always kind of refer it to, especially if
Hmm.
you do indoor season. Was there was there a reason you didn't do any postseason stuff this year, or was it just like it was time to shut it down?
I was actually like was really thinking about doing the running lane championships, and if I could go back, I might have. But also, I've honestly been super busy this summer, so I think maybe it was good that I did start a little bit because I took my break and then came back. So and then I've had like a camp and then vacations. So like, I've had to take a few weeks a little bit more easy. So I think it's honestly like it has its pros and cons for starting cross country season earlier. So I mean, yeah, there wasn't an exact reason. I think I was just a little tired from like the track season because I mean it's only my like second year of running really, so I didn't want to. I don't think my coach just didn't want to push it too much.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't blame anybody for doing it. I mean, I just there's a kid who was on the podcast. He just went. He did a 5K and ran like 15, like 12, I think, and his PR is 15:29. So it's like definitely gives him confidence, like going into the cross season. I think, but it's just like it's almost like that meme of I can't even think of his name of Thanos. Like, what did it cost you? Everything. Like, you gotta go so deep in the year, and you kind of do sacrifice a little bit of like cross time, and just even recovery time. I think like taking a break after, especially after states, is like you just need it, especially if you do outdoor or indoor, and
Really.
yeah. So like I said, I don't blame anybody. You get some
Mm.
confidence going to that. That's
It's
gotta
like
that's
yeah,
gotta
it
really
looked.
boost your
I
confidence.
watched them. It was a fun looking race. Definitely would want to
Yeah.
experience that.
I think though too, I feel like it also kind of I think it makes more sense for sprinters and like field events because obviously they're not doing cross country, so they kind of get a break
Hmm.
before like indoor season too. So, but I don't know. I guess again, it can't knock anybody for doing it. It's just
Mm-mm.
it's such a long season to to do, and again it turns into like a year round kind of commitment, which is not a
Hmm.
bad thing. Um, Cross 25, obviously we're getting into it. You talked, taking a break, summer training now. Um, how long have you been like in summer training?
This is I think week 4 or 5 maybe. I'm not exactly sure. It's honestly gone by so fast. So
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure.
And how's that going?
It's going really good. Definitely getting used to the heat. I was just at the beach last week, and then, well, like 2 weeks ago, I was at the beach, and then this week I just got back from the Furman camp yesterday, and then I'm leaving tomorrow to go to the beach again because the first beach trip was like for a memorial, and this is my family trip, so a lot of hot running.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Furman camp. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Um,
It was amazing.
yeah, I like that comes up. That's come up a couple times. Um, of just being like really, really good. Like a lot of student athletes really enjoy that one,
Hmm.
um, which is cool. It's really cool. It speaks a lot of what's going on up there. You're ranked fifth individually out of in the whole state, with the 1803 coming back. Your team is ranked fifth too, in your class. Uh, when it comes to rankings, first off, like is that something you look at or you just don't really pay attention to?
Um, I definitely see it, especially if like you go on like SC runners and then you see the rankings. So like I don't pay attention to it too much just to like I don't want to put that much pressure on myself, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't like look at it or want to like be up in the rankings.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think
I
it
think
gives you something to work towards, so.
yeah, and no, it's good. I think especially with like their rankings though, like because obviously it's just times, and that's
Mhm.
how they compile it. Something that like we want to do on the channel is a little bit more like in depth, like true rankings, not just like, oh, your season best is this.
Hmm.
So stay tuned for that. We're looking at like actually doing some real true rankings for all the classes this year. Um,
That's
but yeah, you
awesome.
look at like, yeah, I know, excited. When you look at your fifth, so your fifth runners ran 21:16 last year, but your core 2 through 4 is right in the 20-minute range. Um, I guess really the biggest thing is like obviously you got to get that fifth down into the 20s, if low 20s, maybe even sub 20. I'm not too sure obviously how the team's doing right now. Um, but what else do you think kind of needs to happen for you guys to make a run at like podium for next year? Is that something you think's in the cards
I
or what?
definitely hope so. We're losing one of our runners because she's moving. So we're just gonna have to see how that looks. But our girls are amazing and they're super hardworking. Like I couldn't be more grateful. Um, they're all super sweet girls. So I think just seeing how the season goes, honestly, but their training's been going great.
No, it's really good. And like I said, there's so many. I think there was a team ranked like there was a team ranked first last year, and they ended up getting like fourth at
Yeah,
the
you
state
just never
meet. So it's
know.
like, yeah, you just never know. You just that's the crazy thing. Kind of last thing, kind of like wrap it up here. Goals for cross. I'm gonna let you say it because I already have like a time in mind of what I think you might say, or what I think you probably could do. But like, what are some of those goals for cross country this season?
Um, I try not to have like time goals, especially for cross country, because it's just so. I mean, I think it's good to have like a good range, but courses are just all over the place. I think honestly, being consistent with training, staying healthy, and I would really hope to run like sub 18, but in a consistent way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say sub 18 is definitely in the cards. It's nice to compare sometimes, like other girls, and kind of like even throughout the years of like, oh, if this girl ran this time in the 2 mile in track, what did she end up running in cross? And like you said, it is kind of subjective because there's so many different courses and terrain and whatnot. But definitely a consistent seven, or yeah, consistent 17. I think is definitely in the books because you just have the speed. You have the speed and the endurance. I'd be surprised if you don't run 17:40 or under, honestly. And I'd even put 17:30. Just again as you develop and um, keep rocking it and keep training hard this summer. It looks looks good. Looks good on paper, but you never, like I said, you never know. You never know. Um, you never know. But um, hey, I appreciate you coming on. Um, I would love
Thank
to
you.
catch up. Hopefully, yeah, I would love to have you on during the season at least at some point. I know there's a couple races that I'll be at recording as well, so don't be afraid to give the old salute and say hey. And seriously, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.